Here with Johns Hopkins women's lacrosse coach Tim McCormack. Get to know you, coach. 1 year in, finally able to take a breath and kind of set the stage for year two. Just tell me a little bit about what that first year has been like. A little bit of a whirlwind last summer, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's been a lot of fun though. Such a welcoming community here at Hopkins. The alumni, the support staff here. So we kind of came in and hit the ground running, and like you said, we were all hands on deck from the first day. We were right in the middle of our recruiting season, so buttoned up the final touches on that class, and then the team gets here a month or so after we moved in, and just started getting out there with the group, and took some major strides this season, and enjoyed every minute of it. So we feel really happy with our first year, and now we're in our kind of second recruiting cycle here, and just wrap that up and start making some phone calls here on September 1st, and we're excited for it all.
So again, now you're able to kind of like have a whole plan. Not that you didn't put your plan into place last year, but you kind of had to play the hand you were dealt in some ways because of the time that you were brought on board. Kind of lay out a little bit about what is your vision for the program? Kind of where do you see Hopkins lacrosse under your direction 2, 3, 4 years from now?
Yeah, it's I think we like to keep things pretty simple here. Out there each and every day that we're together at practice, we prioritize a few things: bring great effort and energy, come ready to go, and make sure that we're having fun. I think that at the end of the day, we started playing this game for a very specific reason, and typically that was surrounding having fun and our growth, as a player. So we try to keep it to the nuts and bolts of those few things, and it keeps it really simple for our athletes. So we're probably going to continue on that plan. I think if we can do that and we can string consecutive days together as a team with those few things in mind, any results or anything that we could put our mind to is going to be inevitable. So we're excited about continuing that path and that journey, and putting our own spin on things, and changing the style up and playing our game. We've kind of defined our game as Blue Jay lacrosse. It's a unique and new style of doing things. We practice a little bit differently. Our style of play is a little bit unique to us, and it's something that we own and love.
So you inherit a team that had some success, been to the NCAA tournament a number of times, competes in the Big Ten, one of the 2 or 3 premier lacrosse conferences in the country. And you had those changes you wanted to implement, and it seemed like you got buy-in from day one. How important was that, and what does it say about the student athletes that are on your team?
Our student athletes are incredible. We had great leadership. I think it's got to start there. And, I would also add the fact that I look at buy-in and ownership as 2 very separate things. To buy into something means that an athlete is taking something that they believe in, somebody else is telling them. To own it is a whole separate thing, right? To own something, you have investment in it yourself, and you have a stake in it. So what I think I loved so much about this group, and I'd say our staff loved, was that they owned it. They owned Blue Jay lacrosse. They owned, the style that we were playing. They owned the values and core values that we all kind of created together. So the ownership was amazing, sparked by kind of the leadership, the upperclassmen, who really, really took hold of this thing.
Tell me a little bit about what makes Hopkins lacrosse unique, not necessarily on the field or your program, but Johns Hopkins lacrosse is known. If you think about Hopkins lacrosse, I would say if you walk down in Baltimore and you say, let's play word association, Johns Hopkins, 50% of the people are going to say hospital or medicine, 50% are going to say lacrosse. What do you feel from the administration with the support of this program? Lacrosse is different here than it is in most places.
Yeah, lacrosse is different here, that's for sure. It's held in such a high regard. The support that we get from administration, the support that we're getting from alumni, the community. As you just mentioned, you walk around with really, really proud with Hopkins lacrosse on your chest. So that's something that our young women have taken full ownership in, and it also comes some responsibility as well, because you're representing something so great, and so they understand that representing this program means a lot in this community, means a lot to their families, and in their own community as well. So I've felt so supported, and it's been a really, really fun, and really, really interesting, I think, environment surrounding this sport, and like no other. I mean, for myself, right, I'm coming from my background in coaching Midwest, right? I was in Chicago for 6 years at Northwestern, and lacrosse is growing and it's making strides in that community. It's really fun to watch. And then I went out to the West Coast, out in Arizona, and spent 3 years out there. And again, small but emerging community in lacrosse. And then you come here, and it's everything, right? I mean, you can walk past every house on the block, and there's a net in the yard, and kids are looking up to our girls as role models, and those are really, really fun things to be a part of, and I know we all take it very seriously as well.
You get 20 seconds to make your elevator pitch to a recruit to come play for you and the staff you've assembled. Just tell me, what is that pitch? What does that sound like?
You have a chance to come play at the 7th ranked university in the country, attend one of the greatest colleges, and have a chance to grow and get better each and every day with your teammates competing at the highest level.
So let's find out a little bit more about Tim McCormack off the field. So tell me a little bit about your family.
So I moved out here. I have a wife, Dee. She is from Toronto area, Burlington, Ontario to be exact. And she's traveled all over with me in the past 10 years. We've gone on this journey together. She's been out in Chicago. We went out to Arizona. We've got 2 beautiful children. Valerie is 2 years old. She's right now exploring, everything from talking to running around, and she's a blast, and really, really growing up so fast. And Matt's, it's like Matt with an S, M-A-T-S, and he's 5 years old. He goes to school right up the street from Hopkins. Comes out to as many practices as he can. Great supporter of this university, of all sports teams here, and he's really, really loving Baltimore.
Has to help that you have like 25 or 30 babysitters built right in there as well, right? When you have 2 kids that age. So you've been in Baltimore for a little more than a year. So favorite place to go eat?
We love Riley's Oysters. Great spot up in Lutherville. I think as a family, we try to get over there at least, once or twice a month.
I know you grew up in Long Island. Favorite vacation spot? Are you a beach guy, a mountain guy?
That's a great question. Our family likes to vary it up, wherever the wind takes us. We don't have a bias on where we're going to go, but when we do, we really like to, try to turn it off. It's definitely going to be something that's going to revolve around being outside. We enjoy hiking, we enjoy fishing, we enjoy camping, so we want to be outside, whether that's, up in the mountains somewhere, or, it could be at a beach. We'll take it, and we'll enjoy every minute together.
If you weren't coaching lacrosse, is there another sport you could see yourself coaching?
That's a great question. I would go out on a limb and say basketball. There's a ton of similarities, I think, in the sports. I draw a lot of what we do here from basketball. I'm constantly studying that game and listening to their coaches and learning from them, that I feel like if there was any sport that I could get out there and be sufficient in, it would be basketball.
Best vacation place you've ever been to? Where you have a go-to, like one spot you've ever been to that was your favorite place to go? Obviously you were out in Arizona, so you had the Grand Canyon, you had all the options out there that you could have explored. Just one thing, I know you said you like to do a lot of different things, but is there one go-to spot you've been to that you just love?
I think the most memorable, for a lot of different reasons, would probably be Iceland. My wife and I did Iceland the year after we got married, and we spent about 10 days out there We drove around the entire country, around the coast line around the country, and camped, and it was a really, really cool and memorable experience for sure.
Great, I'm sure it was. Well, that's Tim McCormack, head coach of the Johns Hopkins Women's Lacrosse Program. Stay tuned to hopkinsports.com and all the social media accounts to find out everything you need to know about Blue Jay Lacrosse.